Hello, everyone. This is Reala from Dragonyule podcast, here to bring you a very out of form and different episode of the Dragon's Roost. Definitely a lot different from what you're used to. Jack Choi and I have attempted to record this episode while he is in Hawaii, but overall, due to some technical difficulties and overall lack of sound quality on our ends and inconvenience in recording, we were unable to push that episode out to you guys for just like quality insurance purposes. So the episode is just going to be me today, and it's going to be a lot shorter since there's no back and forth discussion. It's just going to be me spreading my opinion. But I do encourage you guys to comment below and talk to me about what I said in this episode and give general feedback, because this presentation style might have to be repeated in the future if we went on with some technical difficulties recording episodes. But all that out of the way, the agenda for today is to talk about the new Cygames Fest 12/16 that's just occurred around 5 days ago. Time of recording this is December 21st, and the Cygames Fest brought along a bunch of new updates with it, including Brunhilde as one of the announcements there. I think Brunhilde was actually a couple days before Cygames Fest, but I'm just kind of lumping all of the new information alongside Cygames Fest because a lot of them went alongside that. So we're going to be talking about the general team comps that's cleared Brunhilde so far, but not going too much in depth until our podcast members go ahead and try to maximize their efforts against this raid boss. Miracle of Dragonyule event is currently rolling and ongoing. It's the new facility event, so there's going to be a new event discussion like always. And speaking of things that happen like always, Dragonyule Defenders is the new banner, and alongside that will be an in-depth discussion and overview of the things that you can expect to get from this banner. I'm your host, Midnight Reala, and without further ado, let's just get started. So, the Cygames Fest happened on 12/16, like I just said, and alongside with it came Brunhilde. Chapter 27, or that's not 27, it should be Chapter 7 of the story is coming 12/27. My bad, just kind of a typo there. But yeah, Chapter 7 of the story is coming. Overall, with that announcement, the general consensus is, with Jack and I, when I heard his opinions when we tried recording the podcast for the first time, it just seems like free Warmite to us. We aren't super invested in the story. The gacha game story isn't super good so far. And obviously, most of us play it for the gameplay. So, we'll see what it entails. I'll definitely be reading the story and enjoying my free Warmite for clearing it on easy and hard mode. But that's coming. It's kind of being shoved to the wayside, but it's not too relevant. It does exist, though. Year-end bonus is happening for 15 days. It has been happening for a couple of days now. You get 100 Warmite per day, and you can redeem it for a total of 15 days, which, if you log in every day, gets you a total of 1,500 Warmite, which is enough for a 10 pull. Alright, so Social Reset Award. This is Social Reward Reset. This means that at the start of the game, when you would play co-op with someone, you would get 50 Warmite for each new player that you could play with. This has been reset, and now you can go ahead and keep on clearing things and getting that free Warmite. Very beneficial for us players. The 5-star ticket pool is scheduled for 4 new heroes to be added, and a free 5-star ticket for everyone in the game. Free to play whales, just a free 5-star summon voucher, which is amazing. The 4 new heroes to be added to this pool is going to happen on December 24th. So maintenance on the 24th and then set to air on the 25th. And these are going to be the rate-up characters that we've seen in the banner since the game's launch. So Lily, Naveed, Lucretia, and there's one other that I'm forgetting here. Luis, yep. So those are the 4 rate-up characters that we've seen since the game's launch, and they're going to be added to that 5-star ticket pool. So it's going to go from 9 characters up to 13. If you're looking to pull just a new character, it's very easy to do the math. Just look at the characters that you currently own out of the characters out of each summon pools, and then it should give you a percentage of the likelihood to get a dupe, or if you do it the other way around, the likelihood of getting a new character. So it's pretty, I'm glad that they're making it pretty easy to allow you to get the characters this way. And alongside that, the welcome pack that you could buy when you're a new player has now been increased to the number of times you could buy it to 2. So you can buy another 5-star summon ticket voucher, which leaves you with 2 this holiday season, which is awesome. But at the same time, I feel like it's really alienating its whale type players, because if you've whaled and spent more than you probably should have, you're going to have a lot of these 5-star characters. So I feel like it's very pro and con heavy, because of course the whales are the games that keep this game up and running. But if you're going to be giving these gifts for very cheap and very inexpensively for the cheap to play / free to play players, well, the whales are going to start questioning why they even, spent the money in the first place, if a free to play player / cheap to play player is going to have a similar account in terms of adventurers. So it's a very double-edged sword. But overall, I'd say that the way that they're going right now is the path of least resistance, and it's not too bad. It's okay, and I wish they would have done something different. Like, giving this thing out for free to everyone is not ideal, but it does exist, and that's what we're gonna have to deal with. Alongside that, they announced Dragonyule Defenders, which is the new banner, alongside a full unit overview. This is something that they've been doing for the past 2 banners now. For the Enchanting Ensemble Summon Showcase, they gave you a video and a full overview of what you can expect from that banner, which was awesome. And so they did that alongside for Dragonyule Defenders as well, which is something I hope that they continue to do in the future, and so forth. They revealed a new dragon, a dark dragon. She looks pretty cool. She was another one of the humanoid dragons, so 100% I feel like we're going to be seeing a Darkness banner coming soon. But regardless, that's all the news and updates that we can get from the Cygames Fest. But I do want to go into a little bit of detail on Hybrid Hilda, which is where the Cygames developers mentioned that they wanted to make the Advanced Dragon Trial a little bit harder than High Mid. And then, ironically, a team immediately clears it. Which, I mean, there's always going to be crazy whales, Japanese whales in this game that are willing to clear any type of quest and have a team for it. So it's not too surprising for me, but I just thought it was funny that they mentioned that they wanted to make it harder than High Midgard, and then there's a team that immediately clears it. Now, the video that I saw online, this was the first team's second clear, and they were able to do it with Zainfried, Thaniel, Lily, and Orsem, which is pretty good, because there's 2 4-stars in here and then 2 5-stars. Zainfried seems to be a pretty good pick for this Advanced Dragon Trial, which I'm happy for, because Xander has typically been like the star of the show when it comes to just like clearing quests with the water units. So whether this be intentional or unintentional, I'm glad that Cygames is doing things in a way that allows you to utilize the underdog characters in a way, and that seems to be awesome. And I think the main reason why Zainfried is being used is because of the HP plus 9% co-ability alongside his just like kit in general, like increasing the team's strength. Like, he's a very strong unit, but early on in the game's lifespan, people definitely thought that Xander was the go-to pick for anything that you had to clear with a water unit. So this is the second clear. We're going to be seeing more interesting team comps in the future. I heard from Jack Troy that the very first one was 2 Zainfrieds, but I couldn't really find much documentation on that, but I definitely found this video. Alright, so moving on from Hybrid Hilda, we'll definitely go more in depth on discussion on this when we're actually ready to take on the Advanced Dragon Trial for ourselves. Alright, so the new event came out. It's called the Miracle of Dragonyule. So this event has been met with a lot of criticism, and I definitely see what they're talking about. The thing about the Miracle of Dragonyule in this game is that they haven't really done much to improve or add on to the previously established formula of facility events, and I think people are getting kind of tired about it. So obviously we have the fact that there's no 3-star elemental weapons, there's too much Wurmprint water that we're getting. Like, I have stacks of hundreds at this point, and they're still handing out more. And there's also just, like, not too much new when it comes to the event. That being said, the event truly is a blast to clear with Xander, who is my main 5-star unit. So that's definitely something that you can consider. The Majestic Tide / Royal Maelstrom combo in his skill set is very good for clearing waves, and especially good on Onslaught and the challenge battle when you have to clear these waves. So Xander's fun. I heard that Xander in combination with Together We Stand leads to some very fun gameplay elements when it comes to clearing the waves. So, I mean, gameplay-wise, the event is very much fine. You know, it's just the typical facility event. If you enjoy grinding any of the other facility events, I'm sure that you'll enjoy grinding this type of event in this game. So, that's basically all I have to say here. It's a very interesting event where they don't really add much new to it, but it is a kind of like a holiday-themed event. But I wish they had went ahead and added these 3-star elemental weapons that they did for Halloween. I think that's truly a missed opportunity, and while Cygames is doing a lot right, and a lot of free apology gems and Wormite and things of that sort, gameplay-wise, they definitely do need to kind of step it up in order to keep the interest of many people for long term. So that's the end of the event. In terms of things that you can get from the event, I'm going to go on the page real quick just to tell you what's happening. Of course, you have the event Wurmprint, which we're going to go over soon. You can get some Knights, Testaments, Twinkling Sands, Wurmprint Water, Mana, Rupees, Crystals, Orbs, just like the Scales. Just everything you would expect from a facility event, but the fact that they haven't really added much new to it is kind of a letdown, and I wish they would go ahead and really consider that coming up. Okay, so Dragonyule Defenders. This is the new banner that came out. They're all limited units, so that's something to keep in mind when you make your decision to pull or not to pull. They're all limited. They aren't going to come back for at least a year. They might come back next year for Christmas, or they might not. We don't know. They haven't really revealed any plans of what they want to do in terms of Dragalia Lost, so we're completely left in the dark, but they do have all limited units. Christmas Cleo, Christmas Nefaria, and Christmas Xander are the 3 limited units that they introduced in the banner. Cleo is going to be our 5-star, while the rest are 4 stars. Dragonyule Jean is also in the pool as a limited dragon. One of the first that we see in the game. The first one was Silk for the Halloween event, but Jean is 5-star now, so even harder to get than before. Plenty of event Wurmprints as well. Like, and when I say plenty, I mean this is probably the most amount of event Wurmprints we've ever seen. There's easily like 6 or 7 that we have to worry about. So here's where we go ahead and switch over from this PowerPoint presentation over to the website for Gamepedia. Alright folks, we're back, and we're going to start this event overview with Christmas Dragonyule Cleo. Of course, all information is taken from the lovely Gamepedia Dragalia Lost website. Make sure to definitely give them a checkout if you are interested in looking at information for Dragalia Lost of characters / Wurmprints that you don't really have yet, and you kind of want to look to see what you can get from this game. So she's a base 5-star, and we're just going to start with her Starlight Gift. When I'm talking about all these skills, we're going to assume that it's fully upgraded, with the exception of Wurmprints, which I'll talk about later in the video, how I'm going to do that. But everything's going to be fully upgraded, because theoretically this is going to be at the point where you spend the most time with your character. It's going to be fully upgraded if you play this game for months / years to come. So here's our level 3. It's segmented into 3 phases. It does water damage, inflicts freeze, and 6 seconds with 120% base chance. Increases the energy levels of user and nearby allies by 1 stage. So it immediately brings the energy mechanic back into the forefront of discussion. It's here to stay for the most part, we can assume, and it's a very good thing that these new units are keeping the energy mechanic in there, because 5 energy is not an easy threshold to meet. So the more energy characters you have in a team, the more likely you are to get its buff, and the buff ends. And the buff is just 10% for 10 seconds, and crit rate 8% for 10 seconds. They're very marginal differences. Like, I'm sure over time, if you get energized a couple times per match, or like even one timer match, it definitely does have an increase, but it's only 10 seconds for each buff, and the fact that you have to get to 5, it was pretty annoying for the last event. Energy was not especially that good. It was mainly just the units attached to those energy being good. So Lucretia was good for other reasons, but the energy part was not the main reason why you play her. But they brought energy back, and I'm happy with that, along with the Lily type freeze effect. It's just a nice combination of things that we've seen previously in the game, but never in this context, which is nice. You should be happy. It's something that I'm happy to see in this game. And this is just her typical damage skill, which is deal 148% water damage to enemies directly ahead. Alright, sweet. That's what it does. 2 skills. Starlight Gift is definitely what you're looking at when it comes to this character. Increases critical rate by 10%, and that's assuming it's fully upgraded. Crit rate, it's good. And then passive abilities are increases strength by 13% when HP is 70% or above. Encourages her to keep a high HP rate. So make sure you have a healer on your team if you're prone to getting hit. Stun res just is susceptibility to stun by 10%. Also decent. And then increases the user's energy level by 1 stage for every 30 hit combo. This is one of my favorite abilities. I was just talking about how it's kind of hard to get energy, but this skill makes it a lot easier. Because you're a dagger, so you just go in, do your 30 hit combo, and then kind of run, get an extra energy, and it'll get you one step closer to that small 10% and 8% buff for strength and critical percent, respectively. Here's how to upgrade her. We aren't going to go into that. But this is Dragonyule Cleo. I'm very happy that she's in the game. Our art's very adorable, and she's a very well-designed character. So, and need I mention she's also limited alongside everything else. Gamepedia can also. I want to see what this does. Curious. Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, so here's a 3D model in game. I didn't know that Gamepedia had this, but I mean, here she is, I guess. Alright, here is Dragonyule Nefaria. So we're moving on from Christmas Cleo. I think I made my thoughts pretty clear on her, but she's a very good 5-star for this event. Okay, so skill number 1, Star Squall Shot. Deals 3 hits of water damage to enemies in a line. I have never seen this before on an archer. It is brand new to this game. You know, I'm really praising Cygames for the innovation here. Right, they made a really great unit in Christmas Cleo right here. But when it comes to Dragonyule Nefaria, the only thing that really changes is her element. We've seen this so many times before. Not specifically on Nefaria, but on other bows, so not really breaking the mold too much here. But this one is a lot more interesting, and I'm happy to be talking about. Special Delivery, it activates something called Gifts Ready, preparing 2 gifts. And while this skill is active, the user can distribute these gifts by using their Force Strike. These gifts grant nearby allies a 1-use shield that nullifies damage less than 50% of their maximum HP, and increase their energy levels by 1 stage. Now, this is great innovation in terms of like what Cygames is doing. It's the first time that you can set up a skill and then choose when to distribute the buffs. You activate the Special Delivery skill. You could be, okay, here's when I'm going to Force Strike this buff out to people and increase their energy. So I like how it's a very timed and methodical skill in this game, and it definitely makes up for the kind of blunder in this first skill, because normally the first skill is like the main skill, but in terms of this character, I feel like this Special Delivery skill is the reason why she would be any type of viable at all. This is innovative, and I feel like it's good from a gameplay perspective and bringing something new from the table. I'm not too sure if Nefaria is going to be good or not. That's the main thing that might be holding her back. She is still a bow, and even post buffs, we do not know for sure how bows are going to be. But besides my doubts, the gameplay element to this special delivery skill is going to be a main draw to kind of picking her up and playing her. Skill haste, fully upgraded. Skill gauge fill rate by 11%. Sweet. And then her passive abilities, attack skill damage by 25%, burn res 100%, and then Flurry Freezer, which when a combo count is 15 or higher, grants a 6-second buff that gives standard attacks a 10% chance of inflicting freeze. Again, this third skill is easily the best one and most interesting. This means that when you have a high combo, you get only a 6-second chance of doing this, but you have a 10% chance of inflicting freeze. And if you think about it, bows use their arrows a lot, and it's easy to get the 15 combo, and as a result of that, it's also easier to get that 10% chance, right? So if you get a combo of 15 or a combo of 10, you're going to 100% get that freeze off for this fight, whatever event that you're taking care of. So very interesting character. I recommend you picking her up. I am very much a fan of her kit, and time will tell to see if she's good. Unfortunately, that's most of what I can say for these characters, because early on to the event and early on to the lifespan of Dragalia Lost, we don't really know what characters are going to end up on top. But at least we can give you some insight in terms of what the character does and what sets them apart from previously established characters. Okay, so that's my verdict on Dragonyule and Nefaria. Here comes Xander. Xander is a natural 4-star in the Dragonyule Defenders banner. First skill is going to be Starfrost Swell. Deals 2 hits of water damage to the target and nearby enemies. Inflicts freeze for 3-6 seconds with 100% base chance. This is pretty cool. Does water damage and guaranteed freeze. I like it. Freezing is always good, as exemplified very well with Lily, the previous 5-star, or one of the first 5-star rate-ups in the game. Monarch Spoon increases the user and nearby allies' strength for 15% for 10 seconds. Increases energy level by 1 stage. So that means that all 3 of the Dragonyule characters do bring back energy, which I think that they're just going to tack it on to a lot of characters going forward now. We've seen it in this banner and also the last one. Now, they are kind of walking on thin ice here. I am scared that they're just going to tack energy effects onto previously well-established skills, because they might release an Energy Ezolith in the next banner, and it's just going to be base Ezolith plus, like, a random energy skill attached to, like, Howling Meteor or something that just makes her miles better than the base Ezolith. So I'm scared about this marginal power creep. I hope it doesn't happen, but if they utilize it the right way, they don't misappropriate their design philosophies, this can be a very good thing for the game going forward. I like the energy idea. It's a fun new mechanic. Yeah, but aside from the whole entire energy talk, strength 15% for 10 seconds is nothing to laugh at. It is very good for helping you to clear quests quickly, and that's what you're hoping to do when it comes to the challenge battle, so you might think about bringing him along. Go ability is that attack skill damage increases by 11%. Sure. Striker's energy increases your energy level by 2 stage for every 3 enemies defeated with 4 strikes, up to 5 times per quest. Okay. Increases energy level, 2 stages. This is nice because it kind of pays homage to the 4-strike buff that Xander typically has in his kit. So, Striker's energy, cool. It's a nice homage to what the original Xander did. And, energy level. Hey, energy level. Woo! Get those energy buffs up in here. Nice. Alright, Sunrise 100%. And skill haste is always a good thing to look after. It's always very good. You should be happy. 5%. Can't really complain too much about that. Yep, that's my wrap up when it comes to Xander. He's a very fun character, and despite my doubts when it comes to energy and my personal fears when it comes to this game, he's very good, and I am not going to mind his existence whatsoever. Another thing to mention is that Nefari and Xander are previously locked behind a 5-star kind of like chance wall. So if you like the character and you just want a version of the character to have in your party, you are more than welcome to have them. You know, you're more than welcome to roll and have a higher chance of just getting the character, not specifically the unit, and everyone can be happy when it comes to playing this gacha game. Alright, another limited event unit. Let's see if we can refresh this page or something. Okay, yeah, well, this is like some HTML issue, but Dragonyule Jaune. She is a very pushed character in this banner. I'd even venture to say that she is the best dragon in the game. We're going to show her unmob stats. 169 HP, 57 strength. It's also raining in the background. I apologize if you guys hear that. But... holy crap. Yeah, so I apologize if you guys hear that, but I'm going to venture to say that she's one of the best dragons in the game. And why is that? Well, she does, 4 hits of water damage, inflicts freeze. Cool. Freeze on a dragon, kind of like Polyahu. It's great. It's a good skill, but let's talk about her abilities. When the users are attuned to water, so best dragon in the game when equipped to a water unit, increases strength by 45% and critical rate by 20%. This is the first spread of hit plus crit rate we've seen on a dragon. A lot of times we just see, full HP buff or full, or it's like split between crit and health or power and health. We've never seen this strength plus crit rate being increased in a dragon before, and like in a vacuum, it is one of the best abilities to have. In context, I think it's a lot harder to argue. Like in the context of Hybrid Hilda, you definitely want to have some HP buffs, but I mean, just in a vacuum, when attached to a water character, in most cases, you're going to be very much happy and even ecstatic to be playing in shape-shifting into Dragonyule Jaune. So overall, when it comes to the units of a banner, I think that it's nice to evaluate it based on the number of thigh highs you see. So, I mean, 2 thigh highs here, no thigh highs here. He has stockings, but they don't count. And then Jean, if you can look at her real quick, she has 1. So, I mean, 3 thigh high in 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. So that's a good, 75% thigh highage per character. I'm willing to say that this is going to be a pretty good banner. Quick overview of the worm prints. I'm not going to go too in depth here because we are kind of like 30 minutes into the video so far. But Happy Dragonyule increases player XP intake for clearing quests by 10%. This is interesting. It kind of does the unit thing where it gives you plus 10%. Interestingly enough is that I don't believe that they stack. Yeah, so EXP buff does not stack with unit's player EXP buff. The highest buff takes priority. So it's either you shove this in your party or you shove unit in your party. Either way, you're getting EXP boosts, and that means you're no longer bound by having to put unit in your party, which is awesome for events where you get rewarded for having all types of the same character, such as this one where you get extra holiday cheer for having all water units. So this is a very nice way to kind of increase your EXP if you do not want to increase your chances of dropping a specific collectible. So you get it when you clear Story 5 with the Miracle Dragonyule event. So free worm print for everyone. It's very nice. Slice of Dragonyule. This is coming directly from the banner. Skill prep fills 25% of skill gauges at the start of each quest. But I mean, this is fine and dandy and all, but the main reason why you're looking to use this, if you pull it, is that it increases your astral ornaments by 50%, and then 50% for a holiday cheer. But if it's unmobbed, 25%, which is very much likely that you're going to be increasing the chances by this and not this. And that's why I want to talk about the abilities in terms of how they are increasing your chances when they're unmobbed, because that's where most of us fall into. It's very easy to get a 5-star character once and keep it once, but when it comes to this, it's like whatever. Here's how it goes. So, I mean, use it for the event. Outside of the event, skill prep 25% might be something to consider, but I'm very much sure that there are better options. I haven't really gone through and looked at what those better options might be, but I can assure you there are better options out there. So it's a Dragonyule. Use it for the event. 5-star worm print in the gacha. There are issues with this, very fundamental issues that we've talked about in episode 2 of the Dragon's Roost, if you want to go back and listen to our issues with worm prints. But I do not like this design, and I think that they need to fix it for upcoming events and gameplay styles. Prince of Dragonyule. I managed to secure a copy of this card, and I'm happy because I believe it is the best worm print from this banner. Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. So I kind of misspoke a bit here. This is coming directly from the event, so I do not mind the fact that this is here. Like, the event worm prints are fine. The fact that they're putting this stuff into gacha is what bothers me. The fact that you have a worm print this good in a gacha summon is an issue, especially when it's limited. So we'll go over it. Increases damage critical attacks inflict by 13%. Alright, crit strength increase. Sure, if the user is attuned to water, increases your critical rate by 8%. So, you know, your damage is up by 13%, but the chance to inflict a crit is 8% higher when the combo count is 15 or higher. So, I mean, obviously this is a very good fit for the Dragonyule Cleo that we've been talking about, because she's a dagger. She synergizes well with crits. It's very good. It's very good when equipped, but there are other uses than just that. You can still get a combo with, you know, other characters than just daggers, but daggers are the main ones that you're looking for, and I'm sure there are other characters that you can go ahead and equip this to, such as like Orsem or Luther. They're all daggers. They can get their combo count high, and Holiday Cheer is increased by 100%. So, I mean, if you just pull it, just by virtue of pulling it, you're going to be pretty much ahead of the event in terms of Holiday Cheer than anyone else that you're going to see. I really like the art on it. You know, Cleo, Yuden, very wholesome. It's nice. I think that the artists really do work hard on the worm prints. It's just an unfortunate part of the game that they have to be part of your gacha pool and be the reason why your day is ruined. Wish Upon the Yule Tree. This is another gacha worm print. Increases your defense by 8% when HP is 70% or above. Grants an HP regen buff, healing you 1% max HP every 3.9 seconds for 20 seconds each time a defense up buff is received. So it's kind of strange in that way. So it gives you a regen buff for when you get your defense up. So it's kind of like a very tanky worm print. So, but you also have to be given that defense buff. So you need to pair it with something that gives yourself a defense buff. And arguably those characters that have that defense up buff are not the type of character that need to get healed. Like Julieta is a character that comes to mind. You know, very defensive type very defensive type unit in the game, and she takes care of herself just fine. She increases her defense. I think that increasing her defense and healing is kind of overkill when it comes to that part, but I mean, it's here. Maybe it's a candidate for High Zodiarch when that comes out, when you equip it to your Julieta. Only time will tell when it comes to this one, but the the kit when it comes to this Worm Print is very cool, but it only really benefits characters that are already tanky to begin with, which, you know, adding more tankiness to a tank, how much more mileage are you really going to get out of that? I don't know. But I'm sure that we'll be able to tell in due time. Sailing Delivery. This is a 4-star Worm Print. Stun res, skill damage, astral ornament increase. Very simple, but very effective for the event. We'll see how it pans out. It's a 4-star Worm Print. Probably not much consideration for this guy after you max out your astral ornaments for the event. And then the last one, Roast Feast. 3-star. And increases potency of recovery skills by 3. Astral ornament. You use this if you pulled nothing else and you want to help out your event percentages by a little bit. It's here for the cheap to play and free to play players. But that's the whole entire event overview, and there is a question kind of listed here. If I can go ahead and switch. Yeah. Shitty poll. And this is something that I've been talking about in the past episodes of the Dragon's Roost for a very long time now. I said that you should be waiting for limited units because we don't know when they'll ever show up again. Halloween Ellison may be the last time that you can obtain her. I highly doubt it, but you know, it's a possibility because we don't know what Cygames is planning. So now is a perfect time to pull. You saw the units I've been going over. Either they have interesting effects and they fit within the formula of what makes a good character, or they just have straight out good effects that you'll be happy to have on your team no matter what happens. Some standout characters from this banner are obviously all the limited ones, but I'd say that you're mainly looking for the Jean/Cleo/Prince of Dragonyule combo. I think that's going to be a very strong water combination going forward, and they're all here in the event. They all work in tandem with each other, and they were designed with the skills and abilities of the characters in mind. Obviously, to get that combination, you're going to have to whale quite a bit, but if you've been saving, like I've been requesting and hinting at in the past episode of the Dragon's Roost, plus with the addition of all these Apolygems in the game, it shouldn't be too hard to get what you want if you're willing to waste all your resources now in an attempt to get what might possibly be a limited, very meta-relevant kit combination with unit, dragon, and worm print. So that's my opinion on this banner, and I think Jack shares a very similar sentiment when it comes to this banner. It's very good. It's very limited, and I doubt that you'll ever regret pulling on this banner in the future because there's so much good stuff, and you might never have a chance to get it again. But that's basically everything for this presentation. If you liked the video, despite its interesting and solo level format, please give it a like and share with us in the comments below what you think of the event and what you got for the banner. We always love the viewer interaction, and if you have any like screenshots or just telling us what you get, we'd love to talk about it with you in the comments. Alongside this, we also have an icon coming through the way, and I'm looking for a graphic designer to design thumbnails and layouts and stuff for our channel. So if any of you are a graphic designer or know a graphic designer, please hit me up. I'm looking to purchase some for the continued existence of this channel. Alongside Discord that we plan to make. Discord's coming probably in the new year if enough people show interest. But aside from that info dump, I thank you very much for watching this episode of the Dragon's Roost. It's truly a time to be living. And I've been Reala. I thank you for watching The Dragon's Roost. See you guys later.